All right. I'm pretty sure that'll do it. Hey guys, hey, what's going on? It's me. It's Tech. It's Tech Turncoat. How you guys doing? Um, I'm a little nervous because OBS is sending me some weird poop shit. What the fuck? What the hell's that? What did I get there? I'm gonna delete that. Sure. Uh, OBS is giving me some like weird error message about not receiving enough video to maintain quote unquote smooth streaming. Um, I don't know what that's about. That's actually why I swapped from the from this guy earlier in hopes of maybe like it's being like, oh, this is just a static image. We can't do any like streaming thing. Um, but apparently that's not it. So we don't know what's going on. Um, you know, the videos is still recorded. Like the stream's still going. Everything seems to be fine. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to live with it. It's fine. I'm not too worried about it. How you guys doing? It, uh, hmm. I have been thinking about going on a break for at least for a little bit. I've left some stuff on a shelf for maybe a little bit too long. So I'll talk more about this towards the end when it makes more sense. But just in case like I get too like sleepy or something, or like I totally forget, like I'm thinking of maybe giving it a week after this stream to like kind of settle some stuff that I've been meaning to do. There's like a bunch of stuff that I've been meaning to do. Kind of one of the things, a new semester of classes has started for me. Um, I'm a college student. Not really, I only need to know. I don't really need to say which one, but one of the things that I kind of need to do is get supplies. And that's kind of supplies with like a big old air quotes over it. I'm using major in like I want to be an audio engineer. Ooh, big words. Oh, okay. Well, there's now the thing's gone, so I don't know what's going on. Anyway, um, basically all I just need is these certain books, but like it's not like I'm not super worried about the price because these are just like music books. They're not like I'm not getting like $200 fleeced by some fucking math textbook. It's like they'll probably cost me like $50 in total, um, for the both of them. But what I do need, I am a little bit worried about price wise, is I um, I have a pair of studio headphones. I'm currently using them right now to stream, so I can hear shit going on. Um, but mine are broken. I can still use them well enough, but like I may be using them in a way, not in a way not conducive to how they're supposed to be done, but like I think I'm using them a little bit more than they probably should be used. For stuff that doesn't always necessarily need studio quality headphones. We'll say. Um, so uh, for one of the things that I need to do is I need to get a new pair of headphones and find out what to do with my current ones, and also in order for further prevention, get like a new thing of earbuds or something temporary that I can use to uh cover the use of the headphones so that I'm not always just using them. I don't need to use the headphones all the time. Um, but that's a little bit beside the point. Um, but the main point being, like, past this, I think I might take a week just to chill out. use the time to do other things that need to be done. Uh, Ideally, upload all of the put out because they're technically uploaded. Put out all of the Hollow Atraxia episodes that I have on file on deck. And maybe just kind of let it sit. You know, some stuff that needs to get done. So I may take a week, maybe two, just to kind of sort everything, get on top of all the work that may or may not be coming ahead of me. So I thought I'd just let you guys know ahead of time. I will be posting about it on the Twitter and Blue Sky later, but I thought I'd just let you guys know. This is going to be strange in 2 to 3 weeks time. Uh, to watch back, because all my stuff is on the back end. Well, let's not worry about that right now. I think we're good to go. I think we're just about ready. Why don't we just why don't we just dive in? Uh oh boy. Is it No, these are dates. 22. Change the way it worked? Because these are oh boy. Because these are from when I was fiddling around with the bonuses. I assume these are new ones, by the way. But I do want to check. Bonus, start episode 1, main menu, console gallery. Still the same 4. Coolio. Maybe if I just load it like that. We are currently in between scenes. So yep, Noble Electronics, Northeastern headquarters. Sub lobby A8. I've been here before. Sat right here in this lobby, waiting for David to come and treat me to lunch. At least I think it was this lobby. Could have been some other floor. Could have been an entirely different building. All these corporate towers of Babel feel interchangeable fractals to me, folding in on themselves in patterns of narcissistic paranoia. So monumental is the scale of their hubris they need to use non-Euclidean geometry when drawing up the blueprints. The greatest minds of each generation coming together just to find the most expensive way to shove their heads up their own asses. Adonai, is something bothering you? I was just doing the math on how long we'll be kept waiting here. Apparently someone will be here shortly. So maybe if I pass time by glaring around the place, it'll improve my mood. Oh, did they go be the same? It's definitely. I'm getting a sound effect over here. Who? Oh, okay. It's just. I think this is only one room. This complex is so massive that it doesn't even feel man made. It's like it was carved out of the rock by waves, like it's always been here. That's the con. This place is actually natural. There'd be birds everywhere. I hadn't considered that. Why aren't there birds in here? Probably because of what they do to the ones that get in. I'm kidding. Though I don't have a better explanation. Oop. So much energy, so many people, also intent. You kidding? It's Saturday. This place is half empty. But doesn't everybody work on Saturdays? All the parents do, so they don't need to find childcare on Sunday. Everyone else flips a coin, I guess. All these people, for 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. What could they all possibly be doing? Jesus Christ. Oh, hey. Well, wait, what? Hey, Shifty, what's going on? What is that? Did you? It's fun seeing you in the YouTube chats, Shifty. Shifty, what's going on? Doing good? You got the little okay. So you can continue writing out whatever you're going to. Uh, YouTube kind of recently did this one thing where it's like, ooh, top fans, top chatters, ooh, where they'll uh, s- like you can kind of see it right now. You have this like little crown on your nameplate. Um, I had assumed it was only for like doing super chats and stuff, which actually thinking about it right now, they have I can't well, I haven't given me the option to do that yet. So that's obviously not what that is. Interesting. Maybe it's for the most active? I don't know. Hey Shifty. It's fun to see a real person here sometimes. Um YouTube doesn't have as big an issue with it as Twitch does. But yeah. Fun to see some warm blood in here, pal. Making work for themselves. Oh god. I clicked away and now it's like, oh fuck. He's not paying attention to me. I need to crash the game. Oh god. I think it actually is crashing. Ugh. Please. Okay. Oh yeah, there it is. We maybe hold on. I'm just gonna oh I can't even end ooh. My computer's had a difficult time recently. Oh hey. I forgot I left that there. Alright, well my computer sorts itself out. Yeah, it's fine. Oh boy. This is slightly embarrassing. The first time I have at least one person in here. And it hard crashes. So that's fun. But at least everyone gets to see what is that? What are you telling me now, OBS? The audio stream current I don't care. Oh boy. Okay, wait, hold on. This may need to be mm, hello? Hello? Are we back? I'm fairly certain we're back. Wow, that was weird. I have never had anything really crash so hard on me that I needed to full restart my whole fucking system. I felt like it was an inevitability, but Jesus. Uh, well, on the bright side, we didn't lose technically a whole lot. At least I hope not, anyway. I see my fucking thank you. Are you gonna make me do it like I did last time? Yeah, there it is. Okay. Uh, oh, computer. I hope this doesn't look too weird. Back when somebody goes to watch this back, because this is annoying. Where is it? Control? This one. Is it? Oop, shit. All right, yeah, here. This is about the text box that we were at. Places half empty. Doesn't everybody work on Saturdays? All the parents do, so they don't need to find childcare on Sunday. Everyone else flips a coin, I guess. 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. Woof. The labor laws. Hold on. I gotta do a little to-do list thing here. I really feel like I should be kind of hustling on this just so I can get the most out of this before the next crash, whenever that might be. But I really don't want to think about it like that. Making work for themselves. You can be very cynical, can't you? Yeah, I'm terrible. That guy over there has just been jiggling his cursor for the last 20 seconds. Jiggling his cursor. Is that what they call it in the future? When everyone's part robot? Yeah. Oh, I guess they're talking about the tree, which is why. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I think this is the only one room. It's so massive. Why aren't there birds? It's probably because they don't want the birds shitting all over the place. Which makes sense, but also, birds though. They changed the logo again. Noble Electronics. How does it feel stepping in here? Is this like some kind of religious experience for you? It's just the corporation where my father worked. Careful now. I'm gonna burn you for heresy against the company. You said it again. The company. As if it's a proper noun. You're mimicking the employees, aren't you? So we can't obey simple orders, but it can pick up on that? It's just part of the Is it just a part of the corporate culture? Noble's one of the biggest corporations there is. One of the biggest it's ever been. We mere humans can't hope to escape the gravity of anything that size, no matter where you live or how far off the grid you think you are. So imagine what it's like working for them. You live in company dorms, work in company quarters. Wherever you go, that logo's above your head. Eat, sleep, and breathe on Noble's timetable, and its discretion. You spend your whole life inside of it. Noble must feel big enough to be the only company there is. Whoever comes to greet us better have a pulse and some goddamn authority. It's starting to sour. If they would just send me the first link in their infinite chain of corporate bureaucracy, I'll make them wish. Morgan? That's me. Hey there. Android Manufacturing, Quality Control, Eastern Division. Evan Dawes. August 1st. What type of minus? Chief Supervisor, the Android Manufacturing Quality Control. Oh, that's right. We're here to, I almost forgot we're here to get our chip, basically. I don't really like that, but hey, whatever. Morgan's the one on the reins. Chief Supervisor, Android Manufacturing Quality Control. Likes hammocks, calligraphy, and a pale ale. Interesting. Dislikes first dates, conference calls, and a 5 o'clock shadow. Proud of his practiced handshake. Nice. Struggles solving captchas. His host starting to gray. Oh, my dude. Oh, okay, good. What's this? Oh, hey. The talk screen. Just performed with David. Let's see, right? Gates fields. Determined that if any illicit substance was in the body, alcohol was the only item positively identified at the time. They did find something in his body, so that it's possibly a designer drug. A depressant. Lost consciousness at 803, declared dead at 825, and ICU redacted, presiding. Cause of death, respiratory failure, unknown substance detected in bloodstream, approximately 10 to 20 milligrams total. So 18. The loud curling handwriting at the bottom of the document read, what the hell is this talk screen? Send attending physicians back to med school. Send apologies to the attending physicians, these readings are a nightmare. Evan Dawes. He says it like it's an afterthought. What's a name compared to your place in the hierarchy? You seem familiar. I'm David's lawyer. Oh, then they must have Apologies. Let me first just say how sorry I am about his passing. You and everyone else at the company must be going through a lot right now. As if it's a proper noun. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me. You're welcome, but it's no big deal. Everyone's on the razor today, but what else is new? And compared to PR or legal right now, our workloads in QA are... Never mind. How can I assist you? Shortly before his passing, Dr. Ashur began the process of registering this android. Yes, that is correct. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to finish the job. Look at that. It's definitely custom. Gee, you think? Good thing I sought out an expert. Warm. Goes without saying. Into the A16 Premiere, if anything. Barcode's clearly printed, no visible defects. But you're right. This corresponds to anything we've got on file. Well, they sent you the right man for the job. I just need to go to the right place. Not far, I hope? It's in the building. In the building. That could mean anything from down the hall to a half-day's hike. Production line on B9 should have everything we need. You do manufacturing inside your corporate headquarters. B9's a fully functional production floor, but it was only built for demonstrative purposes. New clients make deals upstairs about how many and what shape or size. And they come down to the basement to see how the sausage is made. They have enough money to build a fake factory just for guests. Smart! So long as you're only giving tours and not giving away company secrets. I don't need to worry about that. We take intellectual security very seriously around here. No kidding. There are 11 cameras on us at the moment. Just that I can see. And who knows how many pairs of modded eyes are aimed our way. But nothing happens in here without the almighty company knowing about it. So if they try to claim ignorance about anything, it's gonna piss me off. Lead the way. I'm keeping a separate list for something else. So if I don't start reading right away, I'm doing that. Noble Electronics, Northeastern Headquarters. Basement. 9. It really is fully furnished down here. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but it's pretty rare to see all this in person, you know. Would you mind terribly if I looked around for a moment? No problem. I've got some prelim paperwork I need to handle anyway, so I haven't had it. Better take full advantage. I'll need more than a cursory knowledge if I want to figure out where Sarah came from and why David wanted me to. Take custody. I'm going to look around. You stay put in the meantime. Adonai? Wouldn't want to lose you among the rest of the merchandise. That's mean. Yeah, there we go. Something out there that caught my eye when we came in. A very familiar shade of crimson. If I squint through the glass out on the floor, there's temperature-controlled fluid tanks. The glass and plastic flows in an eye-catching scarlet transitions into... So you add the blood towards the end. You mean the accident? Yeah, relatively late in the process. Something out of place? Androids have blood, even if it's not officially labeled as such. But it isn't red, it's pink. Sometimes milky, sometimes neon, occasionally garish, or pink. I just didn't think the oxidant would be red. Oh, right, sorry. I barely noticed at this point. The color's natural, comes from the biomanufacturing process. The chromofuge out there moves the byproducts of the waste, the excess pigment, turning it from blood red to psychopop pink. Chromofuge, manufacturing machinery that produces organic fluids used in the production of warm androids. Removes byproducts, impurities, and pigments from android blood, thereby changing its color from red to pink. Interesting. Without the chromophage, our android's flesh would come out looking all the wrong colors. Wouldn't be true. Probably isn't, but maybe. I have a simpler explanation. Blood is primal. The side of it carries weight. They change the color of the product's blood so that when the android gets a bottle broken against its face, nobody bats an eye. So, I don't know why it's doing that automatically. I'm not hitting anything. I think my mouse is super sensitive right now. What's being built out there? On top of the line, brand new bestsellers. The Animate 16. Warm. It's kind of cold out there. We keep the factory floor refrigerated. Slows the organics already tuned to metabolic activity to a minimum. Explains that the room doesn't smell like rotting flesh. Flesh out there is only somewhat rotting. Slowly. I just meant I'm surprised to see metal. Oh, well, all the A16s have alloy endoskeletons. The organics are layered on later in the process. Sounds like what Sarah told me about herself. Maybe she really was the A16's prototype. It's hard to imagine bridging the gap between her and these scattered null parts. I get that you can just grow just about anything from lax Gemini, but how do you get the synthetic and the organic to work together? Yeah, that was our first concern when R&D began to work on the worm concept. The 1.0's real skin with synthetic muscle. It was a horror show. Metal pulling on skin was just... right. 2.0 they work backwards. Organic muscles, organic skin. The digital signals on organic hardware was a dead end. Didn't the muscles flex when you passed an electric current? When you passed an electric current through them? They'd flex and unflex, sure. That's not nearly precise enough for facial expressions. Look like puppets strung up on live wires. We used the test footage to haze interns, actually. Really? Must have figured something out. The A16 wouldn't look out of place on the runway. Thank you. We try. We ended up reaching out to mod companies. Well, I actually just bought out half a dozen of them, but... right. We figured out how to get human nervous systems moving mechanical limbs decades ago. So we just needed to get some mechanical nervous system to move. Living limbs. Very clumsy attempt to avoid using the word human. High precision mods are slotted straight into the nervous system. They receive their input from nanotransmitters, not bioelectricity. So you had to do the opposite. Exactly. We created a synthetic neurotransmitter that our androids would use to communicate with organic flesh. Where did that breakthrough come from? Dr. Ashur? Partly. He led the team, but built the motor neurons in this analogy. They carry commands from the central nervous OS to individual muscles across the chassis. But the serotonin? Sorry, the synthetic analog serotonin. I thought so. That was actually an old brainchild from the VP, Android Futures, Helen Young. Young. Didn't David mention a Dr. Young before? Sounds impressive. She's one hell of a biochemist. Or she was, I guess. Much time for the individual lab work when you get to her kind of pay grade. So Young collaborated with David in the technology that enabled warm androids. As I thought. Whatever went into Sarah that makes the android so... distinct, he couldn't have taken sole credit for it. Young. Did he partner with her on this? Okay, yeah. It's not doing it automatically in my mouse, it's just really clicky right now. It does that sometimes. Is that it? Okay. Yeah, let's see this one. It seems to share some components with that coffin Sarah was napping in. If DAWs does quality assurance, is this some kind of Android calibration device? It's probably what he'll use to register Sarah. Looks a little... Is Sarah tall enough for it to recognize her? That's funny. Child. Feels like I've seen this before. That's right, there was one in David's lab. That, the nano-grade elementary manufacturer for short. Real high-quality piece of machinery. Each of them built in-house by Randock Mechanics. What's it do? Nano-level flesh fab. Basically a 3D printer for nano machines. Flash fab. think it said flesh fab. A method of manufacturing artificial microscopic components that utilizes parallel nesting to assemble billions of simple structures in miniature, or in minutes or even seconds. Nanomachines have been around for the better part of a century. The time and resources required for their construction through traditional means was historically prohibitively expensive, limiting exploration of the investment in nanotech. In the years since flash fabrication's introduction, use of the demand for nanomachines has exploded, and scientists, doctors, and product designers have found brand new niches for them across every industry. Concerns about the ecological impact of the surge in nanomachine construction have been raised, although the official stance on the Nano-Life Industrial Lobbying Group has remained unwavering. Nothing that small can possibly leave that big of an ecological footprint. That's a lie. There are bugs that do untold damage all over the place, but now's not the time for that. What's interesting is that this article is completely like extra, you know, you don't have any more. Oh, hey, this one didn't do it either. Interesting. Yeah, there's no like green text there. You build nanomachines in your factories for use in your androids. Raw materials are cheap, literally elementary, so no sense in getting them shipped in. It's mostly the medical models that make use of them. Inject a couple thousand nanites to a patient's bloodstream, run diagnostics to provide a solution. A 3D printer for nanomachines. So what kind of ink does it use? Silicon, hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, building blocks. They feed into the nanoprinter and it assembles the machines particle by particle. Like a ribosome building structurally complex proteins out of chemically simple nucleic acids. Must be time consuming. You would think, but Randok cracked a code on parallel microfacturing. The inside's crystalline sprawling, like an ant's nest. Raw materials enter at one of the thousands of different entry points, combining and recombining at intersections. The finished product ends up at the center and drips out in the liquid solution. Distilled nectar, swimming with millions of nanites in just 2 minutes. Nectar? It's sticky? Can be, depending on the desired output. But the door vacuum seals while it's cooking, so don't worry. It's completely spill-proof. What a relief. Not exactly a box of paper clips David could have brought home from the office one day. Must have brought his own, for some reason. Machine capable of examining factory shelf floor machines just like it are used to. I'm also gonna save now that I'm thinking about it, just so that I can if anything fucky happens again, then I'm right here. Oh, there's something else. Did I miss something? Ah, I thought that might be something like that. An inhaler left out on the desk. Probably half dozen empty ones in the drawers. DAWs? The inhalers, they're distributed by the company, correct? Oh yeah, HR handles it. They personalize your doses and prescription and update it based on performance and job fulfillment reviews. Do other corporations do it the same way? Yeah, pretty much. Everyone's trying to keep pace with each other, so again, if your employees isn't focused on the job, it'll cost you who knows how much in lost efficiency. Sorry if this is insensitive, but given what happened to David, are overdoses common in the company? Yeah. Yeah, he says. Who's L? Yeah, he says. Overdoses, that is, not hospitalizations or deaths. It's all pretty organized these days. These days? Man, back when I started in consulting, pretty much everyone had an embarrassing story from the first 2 years, where they popped a few too many greens and missed the on-ramp. Popped greens? Yeah, used to be pills. Green to get you going, yellow to keep you there. Swallow right after brushing your teeth to get you in your bunk fast. But yeah, the inhalers are a huge improvement, like going from torches to the light bulb. They sync straight to your personal biomes and adjust doses in real time. Overdoses are way down. That's great to hear. The trainees under me don't realize how good they got it. Kids probably won't even have to learn how to purge. Is that what I think it is? Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. They're having... Was that basic company... Ooh. Ooh. That's a nice way of putting that. Yeah, I know, right? Something else. Something out there, maybe? Ah, I knew there had to be one. What do we got on this data pad? Some kind of write-up? On the subject of Sullivan's Peak, much of our world today, and in fact much of our world's economy, is heavily influenced by the uncanny valley. The thought experiment provides a simple but easily applied explanation for the gaps we see in the otherwise wide spectrum of automated dependence that exists in nearly every industry on the planet. There's a very simple primal truth to it, like the things that resemble the living, like cartoons and puppets and toys. And we like things that are damn near indistinguishable from the living, like whatever name Noble's latest products are being sold under. There are deep, deep trenches between those two ends, where products are universally appalling to human sensibility. The uncanny valley will no doubt remain a useful tool for teaching marketing and design for generations to come. But already we are seeing ways in which it fails. It is becoming increasingly clear to us that the space between nearly indistinguishable and truly indistinguishable is much wider than we ever suspected, and it may not be the only part of the math that we must fear. I propose we bridge these gaps in knowledge by looking to the speculative fiction of Robert J. Sullivan, who, in his most well-known work, Equal Under One Sky, described a concept which thereafter has been called Sullivan's Peak. Through the lens of his characters and their so very divided world, Sullivan demonstrated that the uncanny valley does, in fact, have its own peak on the other side, a point past which, making an artificial existence any more human in its features, serves only to make the user experience more uncomfortable. No, yeah, okay. I can understand that. More difficult and more fraught with moral pitfalls. Once you reach Sullivan's Peak, traveling any further only has diminishing returns. The implication on this idea are far-reaching. We will very soon reach the point in which the designers of ads can only make their creations less lifelike or less likable, a hard stopping point for technological process. What then, we must ask? Look like you forgot to sign in your device. Drop your thumb below and we'll get you squared away so you can keep reading. Oh, he's Midwestern. Whichever one of the day in fact the economy is subject to Sullivan's Peak. Wonder what the question's gonna be. Surprised to find reading material like this around here. Are they passing it around as a gag? Or are they actually afraid of Sullivan's Peak around here? Noble must be wary of it or dismissive of it. I would think they'd be wary of it. That's something you gotta keep in mind, right? If they make them too, you know. Well, they've already got the warm androids, and well, well, I made the save. I think they're dismissive of it because they've got the barcodes on the androids, and that's supposed to be like their way of distinguishing, hey, this is an android. If they needed to be wary of making their androids too human-like, then they would be doing that instead of having them barcode everything, right? So, damn it. Not even gonna bother reading it. It was my first instinct always. Damn it. I think they're wary of it. Oh, wait, really? Interesting. The peak does exist, though, coming up on it fast. None of the androids are warm. Noble's entire product line, maybe the entire industry could go. Hey, okay. If Sarah's any indication of where the androids are headed, I can see some people getting uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable. She's so human, or I expect her to be so human, that like, I'm like, should we really be like tagging her like this? All done? Ready to get the ad handled? Thanks for humoring me. Can you have it step into the scanner? As he says. Understood. Oh. Right then. What are we looking at here? Whoa. There's a lot to unpack here. We theorized it may have been Ashur's pincushion. Pincushion, huh? I would explain some of what I'm reading here. What language is that on the screen? Tess? You know, Tesseract? All noble products and pretty much all products, period, are programmed in Tess. Like Sharp. Programming language for modern automated dependence. Tesseract 4.6, better known as Tess, is the latest version of the Tesseract programming language built on the Tenet system. Tenet. And utilized in industries around the globe to code software that how the language works and all the other intelligence. So it's a much greater variety of Interesting. Do that again to get it away. Easy to read and write. Stay compliant. This model, what's it go by? Sarah? This Sarah model. It's got everything the 16th line has, that's for sure. Organic skin, hybrid muscles, advanced facial processing and emoting. There's a lot crammed in here that's still in development. Like, in the idea phases. Solar cell, hair strands, decentralized redundant power, mental and physical overclocking with extended tolerances. Data storage so large I can't... No. Wow, he had to measure it using... I love a poker face. Wait. Decryption and signal hijacking, that's... hacking? Essentially. Does that mean it can hack its own tenets? Oh no, that's unthinkable. Literally, for an ad. Tenet super system. Programming framework underlying the development of modern hardware dependent software augmented by programming languages built on the Tenet system. It's a series of inviolable priorities and set into a program. A tenant cannot be circumvented under any circumstances. Oh. I was looking for circumventing. Again, only the tenant with a higher weight supersedes and tenants are first to the alpha size. It's a trio of 3 priorities. Since then, number supported tenants has ballooned to 113. Jesus, those are required by lobbyists in the insurance industry. Yeah, okay. Tenants are well known for increasing decision time. The decision time for the program is over 10 of them are below 30. Originally, one tenant that cannot be removed from the program is tenant safety 0. Tenant 0, tenant 1. Said tenant dedicated to the following program cannot produce outcomes that would result in harm or the living person. After the decision reached the People versus Volsten's defense contractors, and the widespread adoption of automated dependence on the military and security sectors is no longer required. Tenant 0 may still be added, particular benign and mundane software. It's a good luck charm, so it's just a ritual or a joke. Jesus. They treat don't harm people as a joke? Or a superstition? Damn. For an ad to break its tenets would be like you stepping into traffic or dropping a baby. Even if you're physically capable, but it's not something you would ever choose to do. You know, some people do walk into traffic. Psychotics, addicts, the mentally ill. Does that mean that there are androids? Well, no, there aren't crazy androids. So, yeah. I guess the analogy doesn't hold up. That's okay. So it can't hack itself, but it's given the ability to hack other systems. The industry line is that such a capability could be an option certain emergency scenarios. Breaking through the firewalls and encryption of surrounding electronics to broadcast directly to police or military channels. Speaking of military, it's this musculoskeletal setup is drastic. I've never seen this on a consumer model. Can you lift a car or something, Sarah? Most cars. It would depend on the center of gravity. Lady, this Sarah could wrestle a public disturbance walker and come out on top. The stomping behemoth zipping up riot suppression? And in terms of computational ability, the estimate says that can't be right. Look, Dawes, I was actually hoping you could tell me something about the software or the metadata. Who worked on it and when? Right. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. The editing logs have been purged. That doesn't sound very above the board. Sorry, I can't tell you anything about who worked on Sarah or when. Any chances you could restore those logs? Here, with this machine. I need the computers that were actually used for programming this model. Any ideas where those would be? Sarah? I cannot answer that question with any accuracy. I had a feeling you might say that. Ads, right? Sorry, I can tell you that the code is unique. There's a sense of the A16 in there. The same conclusions, it's just... Dr. Ashur, however, took very different paths to get there. So Sarah has even less in common with every other android on the inside? Sorry, didn't expect to hit a dead end here. Not at all. You've been very helpful. Can we still get the registration done? Yeah, no problem. We've got the software and forms all set up here. Occasionally we let a new business partner bring one home fresh from the oven, you know? Oven? Gross. All right, a few basic questions then. Who's going to be the official owner of this unit? She is. As it says, unless the will disagrees, it's my responsibility. Right then. You fine with the designation, Sarah? You can set it to anything you like. Well, actually... Never mind, I have a feeling Sarah will do just fine. Okay, this part's all standard. Civilian model, address, contact info I can get from your crumbs. Do you want to reset to factory default? Could clear up a lot of quirks. Not right now. Last thing then is the grading. I'm reading 23 tenets here. Nothing too far out of the ordinary. 23? That's higher than I expected talking with it. She seemed more malleable than that. Don't blame yourself. Guessing tenant count from outward appearance has become a crapshoot. I don't think it used to be. It used to be that only had 3 tenants total, and every unit had to have them. Then came the first accidents, the first lawsuits, and the hearings, legislature, and the demand for more tenants. The tenant making sure ads couldn't endanger the state, and stating that ads couldn't divulge private information without prior consent. There was a campaign calling for a tenant to weigh child and adult lives equally during a risk assessment. There was a campaign calling for a tenant to do the opposite. Weird. Companies wanted their asses covered. Customers wanted guarantees. This guy's really candid, by the way. It's really cool. He's very candid for, like, someone high up on the corporate ladder. There was never much incentive to deny requested tenants, and the list just ballooned. Until the military entered the market in full force. You sound like you don't approve. I wouldn't go that far. They needed their ads to be able to pull a trigger in order to. Without clearing 5,000 lines of bloated hard-coded decisions to get there. I can understand that. Since the Army's the only ones using tech with bare minimum tenants. All the best, least cluttered, most elegant code is only used for war games. Not very romantic. Well, like I was on the jury. Department of Advanced Projects versus Zenith Dynamics. The Supreme Court sided with the military's request and set up a new precedent that every other army around the world would race to meet. Changing tenets from a mandated list at the root of every ad's source code to a choose-your-own checklist. It's funny. That's at the most tenants. They're so locked up you can't even have a conversation with them. And outside the armed forces, the only ads with single digit tenants count are just vacuuming floors. Most impressive ones, like what you've got here, fall somewhere in the middle. Sorry, a little bit of a tangent there. Only thing left is the evaluation. What gets evaluated? Total financial worth for insurance purposes. Yeah, the insurance companies made sure we had every accurate algorithms for this. No room for human error, they insisted, with no sense of irony. Wow. I mean, I knew it was custom, but what price could they have possibly? That's a lot of digits. You should know these formulae are pretty conservative with their estimates. Stingy, even. Sarah's really David's last and greatest work. They say some things are priceless. When you force an insurance algorithm to pick a number, try not to get any scratches on it, I guess. Sarah evaluation. Interesting. The last known piece of tech he worked on, the fact that he's not deceased and cannot create any more. The fact that Sarah's one of a kind, the value of the component, the potential profits reaped from the exponential technology gained. Totals a very large sum. I don't like that they're referring to Sarah as an it, but I don't know what her preferred identity is. You spoke differently back there. With Dawes, you spoke like he did, it seemed. Like I copied his accent? You seemed to mirror his affect, his tone. It's called being friendly. What's your point? It was just an observation. You could choose to keep those to yourself, you know. No tenant required. Why are you so concerned without registering me in the first place, Adonai? For the same reason I wouldn't drive around a car without a license plate. Any cop, even just a well-placed camera, could have spotted your barcode and seen it wasn't wasn't set up with any actual data. And then they would have arrested me, and then they would have thrown me in the slammer. No, they would have arrested me and put you in an evidence locker. An android can't get arrested? People get arrested. Property gets seized. And then smashed. Great. You put us over the weight limits. I didn't know such. Morgan, counselor, your presence has been requested on the upper floors. Who's asking? Vice President of Android Futures, Helen Young. Shouldn't have assumed it's not the opening move. Tell her I'll be right up. I'll redirect your elevator now. Taking control of your elevator is very... convenient? Forceful. As if Noble is trying to discreetly steer your investigation. Directly steer your investigation. If Noble wanted to shut me down, they wouldn't have bothered to be subtle. I suppose they could simply refuse to cooperate. Or just let the elevator drop. Executive Office. Young. I guess that's her. Staring out the window. Right. Speaking first is a sign of weakness, is it? Or if I could avoid wading into the swamp of corporate 10 power dynamics. You know what? I do want to let her stew, personally speaking. Can I? I can. Okay. If I give up information, I'd be playing a hand I don't have yet. Sounds is only awkward if you care. I can ignore social cues all day long. I always liked this time of day. Not too muggy for you? No, I never liked a clear blue sky. It always seemed cold to me. You're in luck. The sky gets more colorful every year. As the air quality drops?
Childish, isn't it? Marveling at the small sheen of rainbow dancing on the surface of a massive oil spill. Apologies for waxing poetic. It's been a very unusual 24 hours around here.
Dr. Young.
Just Mrs. Fine.
Ms. Young? I get the feeling you didn't bring me up here to talk about the weather. VP of Android Futures, December 9th, AB positive. Likes red meat, flower gardens, and high thread counts. Finer things. Likes working from home, shopping online, and waiting. Fluent in 3 languages. Likes baseball games. Getting children to stop crying. Interesting. I do want to see something though, so I am going to go back. Now it's got all my curiosity up. I don't have time for this inverted staring contest. Enjoying the view? Oh, okay. Yeah. Interesting. Not often they give you a choice like that and just be like, yeah, that's fine.
Now, I brought you up here to express my condolences. I'm very sorry for your loss.
Thank you. Though I could say the same. I know you and David worked together for many years.
Yes, we did. But as much as I'd like to just drop everything and process, the company wheels don't stop spinning for anything. Or anyone.
Mark it off. We already read it, but not in this save timeline.
Was Dawes of any help?
She sent him. Trying to be helpful or trying to control the narrative? He was great. But that must mean you know why I'm here.
I don't want to make assumptions.
No need. I'll be explicit. I'm here as an officer of the court, which means I'm bound by law to document every rock I turn over, and every person I speak to.
Yes, the lawyers made that all very clear. Lawyers? You have an android. It's not one of ours.
You can tell that quickly? Got all the faces memorized?
It's easy enough to remember the major archetypes we use, yes?
If you're nuts about your work, maybe. It's a recent acquisition. Very recent, in fact. One of David's last requests, apparently.
David asked you to take it. I've been told that you've been to David's estate already?
The police gave me full access to the scene.
Then you know he wasn't alone last night.
Yep. There was a single witness who met with him and called emergency services when he fainted.
I was that witness.
Okay. Updated evidence. Helen bears Helen Young's DNA and fingerprints. No trace of any poison. Interesting. She's become very suspicious. Really? Obviously. There wasn't that very many people David would bother meeting with in person, let alone welcoming them into his home and offering them a drink. I also knew that Young was his superior. On paper, though, not in fame. And I knew that Witness had Executive Plan 3 insurance, so they had to be higher up than David. Well then, do your lawyers know we're having this conversation?
Of course. They're pulling their hair out about it as we speak.
Can't imagine why. Police cleared you. And you were well within your rights to ask for some privacy, given the high-profile nature of all that's happened. So why call me up here? Why cut through all the red tape your lawyers painstakingly hid you behind?
Eventually you, or some clever lawyer like you, would get the record opened. Through legal means or otherwise. The company's enemies are legion, and they have a prying knife for every occasion.
Still, that would have taken time. Time you could use to get ahead of what could be the biggest PR hurdle Noble's ever seen.
Touché.
And
so perhaps the truth of the matter is that I simply didn't want to hide. David was my colleague of several years. If I were in your shoes, I would have questions as well.
You're doing this for my sake.
No. My reasons are purely selfish. I'm only hoping that talking to someone whose job isn't to defend me from all consequences might prove therapeutic.
If he wants to play confessional, that's fine by me. But is it really all that's going on here?
Then why don't we start at the beginning?
You went to his home last night?
Yes, at around 7:30 p.m. The building's PIN number captured all of that quite clearly.
He fell ill around 8 p.m., so you spent half an hour together. Why the late call in person?
We had an intense discussion yesterday afternoon. David never came in on Saturdays, and I didn't want to spend the weekend glaring at him through screens, so I visited, and he let me in, and we talked.
About?
The good old days, if you can believe that. Back when we were both new to the company, eager to make a name for ourselves.
And how long ago was that?
7 or 8 years ago.
I just want to say, I do like this particular style of the way she did her lipstick. That's what it's called. Just like the top lip done, and then like a stripe down the entirety of like your bottom lip. It's very striking. Kind of weird, but like interesting. Miss Young?
Putting a number on it doesn't sound that long ago, but it feels... We spent a while like that, just talking. He was lively and sharp, and I never would have thought a few minutes later that he would be dead, but he would commit suicide in front of me.
A firm reply. What happened?
8:15, he said he wanted to toast. He got up, walked back to his workshop, and then he must have went down to the basement to get us a bottle. I checked some messages in the meantime. Enjoy the view.
In other words, she stayed on camera.
He came back with a bottle of whiskey and 2 plastic cups. We drank and talked. He got quieter, spoke less. I thought he was just getting drunk. I didn't get worried until he started to fall asleep.
You tried to wake him then?
He wasn't responding. I tried to shake him awake, but he didn't seem... I left him in the and ran to the kitchen to use the security system.
Didn't think to use your phone?
No. I suppose I didn't. But it worked out. The number's emergency protocol summoned a VTOL straight to his helipad with one button press. When I returned to the parlor, he was limp. I moved him to the floor as delicately as I could. He had a heartbeat, but I just did what I could until they arrived.
You went with him to the hospital, I take it?
Yes, they insisted. They checked my vitals and ran a tox screen, which came back clean.
So did David's for all the good it did him.
I wasn't paying close attention to what they were saying at that point, but I'm sure they ran through every step of the CCE's SOP. That's just what they're paid to do.
You seem certain that it was a suicide.
Yeah.
Why?
As I said, he got quieter as the time passed and he spoke less. But the last thing he said to me, the last clear thing he said, was that he was happy ending it here. Said he was content. And he downed his glass after that. He drank every last drop. Does that sound like David Ashur to you?
Curious, restless perfectionist David? No, I guess it doesn't. So many. Let's start at CCE. You said CCE Standard Operating Procedure a moment ago. What is that?
CCE stands for Counter Corporate Espionage, which is just industry doublespeak for corporate espionage. Only used in self-defense, you understand?
So Noble anticipates employees at your level getting poisoned?
They give us all kinds of CCE training. Subtly, of course. Usually disguised as in the itinerary as leadership workshop or psychiatric evaluations.
They train you to expect to get murdered at these leadership workshops?
Murder's fairly rare at our level. More likely they'll want us to get too sick to work. Let us drain company resources at a hospital bed while our position sits vacant.
Smart. Snipers purposely avoiding vital shots to strain the enemy's medical resources.
That's terrible. Like snipers purposely avoiding vital areas in order to strain the enemy's medical resources. That's nothing compared to when they want to turn an asset. feel ill for the rest of your life with an undiagnosable malady, or become our mole and we'll send you the antidote every 2 weeks.
Nasty piece of work.
Nasty line of work. Consulting.
I'm sorry?
That's just what they call it. Not exactly put corporate spy on your CV.
So every consultant I met at a cocktail party was actually...
Depends. Did they say they're consultants? Or did they say they were in consulting?
How am I supposed to remember? So do you people think what happened to David was a deliberate attack?
Noble's competitors have been trying to get to David for years. And that timescale their plans operate on. And that's the timescale their plans operate on. If this was an attack from a rival corporation, the company would have seen it coming. And they'd have probably struck first.
Alright, what did you think about the cups? I've been curious about this ever since I saw the scene. Why the solo cups?
There's a story there. David and I got hired around the same time, under similar circumstances. Headhunted while finishing our higher education. During recruiting, the company claimed to want us as badly, but in practice, our actual authority was
Inexperienced and overpaid.
he must have been extremely unpopular. You don't mince words. We didn't either, back then. We were loudly trying to convince our superiors that the entire sales model for androids was antiquated and self-defeating.
The two of them made the one-point doctrine. That's not the story I've heard in Noble commercials and Noble-sponsored media. And come to think of it, it's not every story I've heard from David himself.
We had this deadline. Self-imposed, but still, a deadline. We wanted to get our pitch to the president of international sales by the end of the day.
7 p.m. rolls around and people start filtering out. David still has his head buried in diagrams and sales figures. Imagine a technical man like him, a programmer trying to make a sales pitch. The clock hit 9 and even the zombies start heading home. Turn to David, tell him it's not going to happen. We're nowhere near finished and the day's long since been over. He looked at me like I'm the only other person in a sinking boat. And I've just stopped pitching water, and he says, "The president lives on the other side of the globe. We've still got all night until his end of day." We wrapped up at 4 in the morning, just us and the cleaning staff. Back then, only half of them were ads. He finally sends a message and I'm ready to collapse. I've got nothing. We stared blankly at his inbox for the next 40 minutes, hoping that harsh light would give us the energy to work through the next day. And we got a response. It wasn't long, but it showed he was interested. I'd been turned down so many times before then, ignored, placated, passed up, and ghosted. But together, David and I, we had finally gotten a win. So David asked if I got anything to drink. Got a bottle of some swill in a cabinet at my desk, but he doesn't want to drink from the bottle. He says he wants to toast. So we sat there at 5:19 in the morning, toasting awful vodka to one another in cups we grabbed from the break room. Toasting our first victory against the corporate beast. Between the lack of sleep and the drinking, the next day at work was hell. It's like a good memory. Last 2 cups in the liquor was our little ritual. So I didn't think twice that he presented it with my cup. Me with my cup. The story, emphasizing quality over quantity. Young's cup. And then the CCE. It was ceremony for us. Okay. What's your history with Noble? As VP of Android Futures, you're David Ashur's superior, aren't you?
That's correct.
Didn't you join the company at around the same time?
David was always more interested in his work than he was in climbing the ladder. He didn't like playing the corporate politics game.
So was he unpopular around here?
Not unpopular, no. Not the great Dr. David Ashur. Misunderstood, perhaps.
How so?
He could be blunt, demanding, some might say. He wasn't trying to be, it's just Not everyone could work at the same pace he did. Not for as long as he did. Even with the whole company huffing those inhalers, they couldn't keep pace with David. Speaking of which, I didn't see any at Young's desk. Maybe it's just not something you leave out in the open at her level. So you would say his work-life balance was... Balance implies the two are at odds with one another. We use work-life harmony here at the company.
Fascinating. So was he in harmony?
No. David always has plenty of suitors, but he was never willing to put the time in. But I'm sure you're more knowledgeable than I am on that subject.
Right.
What do you mean?
I had to help him draft a lot of apology notes over the years for misunderstandings and double bookings.
Scandalous.
Not where I thought that was going, but hey, whatever. The A16 only entered production this year, correct?
Correct. Pre-order started last holiday and we began shipping in the first quarter.
I understand you were instrumental in the success of Worm Androids.
I played my part supervising the launch, yes.
Weren't you the ones who designed cyanotonin, the factor that enabled communication between synthetic and organic parts?
I'm surprised you've heard of that. I did lead the project, yes, but that was years ago. At the time, cyanotonin was little more than a novelty, a dead end. It wasn't until David took the reins on the A16 that we found a use for it.
Took the reins?
He was lead programmer on the limb coordination, facial expression, and exhaustion parameters. And he designed the synthetic nerves that made all that possible.
David did all that. That's a lot more than just programming.
Was he always so gifted in so many fields?
Did he feel those roles in the A14 or A15?
No. He used to stick to steadfast to his role as a software architect. That was his field of expertise, and he didn't wander far. But 2 or 3 years back, he started sitting in on other departments, taking notes. Soon he was joining the discussion, proposing new ideas, and eventually they came to follow his lead.
Just like that?
Just like that.
So he just applied himself, and soon he was leading other departments.
That's the kind of genius that Dr. David Ashur was.
Maybe they weren't paying him enough.
The company profited the most, of course, but the entire industry benefited from his vision and leadership. His loss will be felt for years.
Right. Hey, so this android Sarah, even Dawes couldn't find any real details on where it came from.
It's not in any of our systems?
I'm afraid not. Did David ever talk to you or anyone else at the company about a pet project?
Pet? No, he never gave me any indication like that. And if he didn't talk to me about it, I seriously doubt he confided in anyone else at the company. David didn't trust anyone higher in the chain than himself, and anyone below him. Frankly, they couldn't possibly hope to give him any advice. He never mentioned me? No, never.
Androids don't come cheap. You never heard about him requesting parts or resources? There were never any discrepancies with his company credit card?
The company's accountants were mirthless, even by industry standards. They wouldn't humor anybody. Not even David Ashur. If they had ever detected financial discrepancies, there would have been an uproar loud enough you could hear it in the mailroom. You have a mailroom? Not since the 30s. It's just a figure of speech.
She got weirdly excited about that. That's interesting.
He couldn't have taken resources from the company without leaving a record. But no one would deny Dr. Ashur information. He would have been able to obtain all the necessary data to build his own android. Then, with just enough time and money, he could privately purchase the raw materials himself.
I don't understand it. It must have taken him years to build Sarah. He wasn't doing anything illegal, except the hacking stuff.
So why keep it a secret? I don't know. But he was private and a perfectionist. Perhaps he simply wasn't proud of the...
Oh. Could be. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk with me. Are we talking about the story she gave us? Yeah. Young's statements made to the police corroborated by the security footage. Right at 7:30. Spoke with David Ashur in the parlor. Dr. David, lethargic and that's consistent with the depressant he was apparently slipped. Lost consciousness. Yeah. I'm sure this has been a difficult day for you. A difficult day for all of us. Message from Fran. I'm running out of leads to chase. Brad better have good news. You really gonna take this to court? That's my plan. The circumstances may be irregular, but I'm still defending a client from a criminal charge. It's my responsibility to argue that he's not guilty of what he's been accused of. And is that what you believe? That he didn't commit suicide? I guess I haven't decided what I believe. Game, I know you're still moving, so I know you haven't crashed. We can kick. Oh, there it goes. Okay. In transit. Would you kindly slow the hell down? I'm sorry, Adonai. Was I walking too quickly for you? That wasn't walking, that was speed walking. Up 2 flights of stairs. It's very different. Speed walking? Sounds like a powerful technique. Is it like Jin Jiao? Just let me catch my breath for a minute. Adonai, is it possible that you are out of shape? In an alley? No. But since we left the cab, your heart rate has. I am not wearing the right clothes. Not the right shoes? Is that so? Yes. Also, I didn't stretch or hydrate, and the sun is reaching its zenith. Adonai, that sounds like John's. That would have been several hours ago. Do you mean the air temp? You said it would be a short walk from street level, so I prepared myself, mentally, for a short walk. Then you took off like a rocket, and didn't mention we'd have to go upstairs. Are you sure this place is even back here? The review online was quite clear. It's worth the trouble finding it. Maybe for a mountain climber. When I sent Fran hunting for a musician in David's circles, I expected them to bring me someone from the city orchestra or a jazz club. The champagne, flute, and teacup kind of musician. But this is the tequila and neon part of town. It should be in view if we turn. Adonai, be careful. Of what? It's a stray, and it's bearing its fangs, too. It could be carrying diseases. You should... Relax. Adonai, it's growling. It's not growling at me. See? So it's just me that it doesn't like. Too much static. How'd you get it to calm down? It's an animal, not a monster. It wants to be calm. Do you like animals? Kind of cold-blooded freak doesn't like animals. Do you have a pet? Nope, never have. Why not? Because I don't want to take care of a pet. That seems counterintuitive to me. Makes perfect sense to me, and I don't need it to make sense to you. But... You notice you're only this talkative when it's just the two of us? Just an observation. You shy of something? David programmed you to have android anxiety? It's generally only appropriate to respond to comments that are just to oneself. Today I've really been addressed directly by people other than you. In other words, you're shy. That is not what I... Can I try petting it? Cute. No law against it. Too much static, she said. July 1st. Ultraviolets. This is the establishment. Now to see if Isaac Porter is as habitual as Fran claims. Do you think Father was close with this man?
this man who you've never met?
I think he was closer than me at some point.
That helped make that decision.
Fran saw their metadata showed a significant cooling of interaction between the two of them, particularly over the past month. And Fran also saw a phone call between the two last night.
So they were close. Do you think they were sleeping together?
That's completely inappropriate for me or anyone to speculate about.
Inappropriate?
I don't know, it's only... I'm getting a very important text message from my private investigator. Please excuse me and don't say that word.
Did you catch the killer yet?
No.
What the hell? I sent you his
I'm at his position. I haven't spoken to Port yet. Anyway, there's no reason to suspect him right now.
Lame.
Surprised you're invested all of a sudden. Isn't David Ashur a corporate sellout in your eyes?
Everyone's a corporate sellout. But Ashur gets respect. If I'm a demolition expert, he's like a really good architect.
That's almost sweet, I think.
Ashur started working out in Cube. So in the architect analogy, by today's standards, he's like, I don't know. Like, as a kid, he built all his bricks by hand. Or something.
Can you think... You know that lit homework can help you with forming analogies.
Ha, you said anal. Eat this analogy. Did that come through or did the characters break? It's supposed to be a guy giving you the finger.
I take a cube as a programming language. What's special about it?
Pretty much everything coded in the last 20 years is web-based. You code with the assumption that you'll always be connected. So you can depend on having fat libraries of references to lean on. And if something goes wrong, your errors get reported to you automatically.
But not cube.
You can look it up. But basically, Cube was originally for robotics and, like, machinery. Stuff that had to operate in mines. Under the ocean. Middle of nowhere fields with zero signal service. So Cube had to be self-sufficient.
How rugged.
Anyway, Ashur learned Cube anyway. Oh, sorry, where did Ashur learn Cube anyway? It's older than dirt. From like the 40s.
I don't know. I think his father had a machine shop or something.
Vague.
Yeah, well, David didn't like to talk about his family. And I never asked.
What did your private investigator have to say, Adonai?
Not telling. Nothing important, really, anyway. So we're just looking around then? Yeah. This bar, there's a person who I thought we were talking to. The stage for the town, pretty close to the floor. Because of the whole round table aspect of this place. Everyone's on more or less equal footing, dancing in the dark. Let's get past the bouncer.
Do you think they might have met here?
David and Porter? Can't see David walking in here.
Because you found the walk so challenging?
Because it's too loud to relax. And not dark enough to be anonymous.
I see.
What's that face? You got something to share?
The atmosphere is not bad in here. The music isn't quite.
I'll find you a server to fill up before I leave. What kind of music does an android even like?
Early 21st century punk rock.
Is that just you, or does that go for all androids?
I haven't met all androids, so I can't speak for them.
Wonder what they'd say.
If they're smart, they'd say that the music peaked with early 21st century punk rock.
Debate settled.
That's like current modern day punk rock. That's funny.
Bar stocked full of colorful selections and busy bartenders. Oh, this is the kind of club you can order food in. Only time bar food is any good is when you're drunk enough to forget the taste and the gap between chewing and swallowing. So you can, like, eat things.
Yes, I can.
Well, like android food?
There's no such product.
So what do androids eat?
Online user guides for Noble's warm models clarify that they don't eat anything in the traditional sense. They get their energy from electrical charging, usually wireless. Whenever they need to eat, it's to replenish specific vitamins and electrolytes.
Sounds a lot like what Mario users go through with their sports drinks and energy bars. And charger separation anxiety.
According to the net, warm androids can ingest nutrient-rich processed carbohydrate pellets if they need to forego electrical charging long-term.
Processed pellets? You mean like kibble? Like dog food?
No, it is not like dog food at all.
Can you buy it from the pet store?
It seems that you can.
How is this something you have to look up anywhere?
Because I've always just eaten whatever father gave me.
Like what?
Marble beef, never hydroponic avocados, foie gras, that sort of thing.
Oh, hey.
A defunct mid-21st century programming language.
So it would be happening like right now.
Little libraries are always alive. Yeah, I'll put that in the 2030s.
Oh no, that's 20 years from now.
Rosal Fluff really went up again. First working on Cube is 2020, 2044 is part of the student robotics. Cube 1.9. Robotics engineering course clubs. Hunter Fighter engineers. 29-day siege disease. It's 2063 as such a defense organization. Into this documentation, they're importantly old attitude is compatible with tenants. There's little to no corporate interest in the ongoing grassroots digital archaeology effort.
Interesting. And her never hydroponics. Food sourcing.
As a movement calling for sourcing food exclusively from farms utilizing natural sunlight. Obviously, that means unsubstantiated claims that superior taste and nutritional value. The labels yet to receive official state recognition, thus the presence of the term. Actually carries no weight and is not backed by any legal guarantee. One of a number of food sourcing movements that arose in the later half of the 21st century, rising sea levels, which is total amount of our variable grandeur. And vertical farms, rural skyscrapers. Each floor is utilized for food production, saving on real estate costs and reducing the impact on usable weather.
That's cool. An interesting use for a skyscraper. I'm not paying for any of that. She can take the kibble before we take frog raw.
That one over there. He matches the photo for Anson. Should I approach now or look around some more?
I do want to look around a little more. Yeah, just in case. What is the out-of-fine control? We're just back to the guy now, aren't we? Oh, ooh. What kind of reading material gets left out in a club? A tabloid interview?
Exclusive sit-down with luxury.
You've heard her name on everyone's lips. You've seen her face in magazines and commercials, and even double-checked to make sure the photos weren't labeled as edited. Sorry, taking my glasses off for a little bit. Ripped my eye. Now get all your burning questions about her answered in our exclusive interview with the mysterious young woman who's been called the most... with the mysterious young woman who's been called... and perhaps the only chick. Hold on. Okay. Been called and perhaps the only truly unanimous vote the net's ever seen. The world's most beautiful woman in the world. Why the name? People think it's an ego thing, but it was just a random username I picked when I was in grassroots. Back when I was a pseudonym to give me a little shade from all the attention. Now it's a brand and I can't change it without setting the stock market into a spin, so... luxury. You're certainly influential. After partnering with you, Inti saw a 3,000% increase in share price. Yeah, I'm happy with him. Of course, to be honest, it's a pain at times like this. She goes to stores her clothes, a plain white shirt and the gym shorts, with no branding visible. On anyone else, it might seem sloppy or even unflattering on her. It only makes her natural beauty stand out that much more.
What are you wearing? Who are you wearing, by the way? I can't wear anyone unless I'm attending something. If we don't dress like this, all my sponsors fall into bidding wars every time I leave the house. Stress you all this attention? It's just bad for your skin, right? They say mine's flawless. Can't argue with that. So do you have a skincare routine? Any tips you'd like to share? Be a little bratty? I didn't even get to finish reading that. Oh, her name is Luxury. Wait, what? Be a little bratty, acting a little spoiled keeps you young. 18 to 29, now and forever. Don't get stuck in a cliffhanger. Right, yeah. Well, however old she is or isn't, Luxury's got one hell of a mind for business. Might do her more good than that face in the end. Maybe it's a hell of a face. In the meantime, she's... That's a good question. Personally, if I were in her position, I would feel powerless. Can't do shit without somebody calling on you, asking why the fuck you did that. Chat between a rock and a hard place as she steps out of line. Her sponsors will beat each other dry in bidding wars. Let's get off her back. She's already got more money than she could ever spend. Okay. Corporations can afford not to keep growing. They never reach a point where they can afford to lose. She's smart enough to take advantage of that. Good for her. Oh, hey. I saw that guy in the early trailer. That individual. That might be powerful. Yeah. Some rises are too meteoric even for the Megs to grab their reins on. At this point, Luxury's got them at her mercy. She can send their stocks into disarray with one selfie. Good for her. Okay, yeah, that's him already. Looks like he's killing time before he sets tonight. Are you unsure of how to proceed, Adonai? I'm sure you don't need to hang back. I'm sure that you need to hang back. As for me, I'm gonna play it straight. I don't think Morgan is one to fuck around like this. Isaac Porter? What's up? My name is Morgan. I was David's friend. Right now I'm his lawyer. Can we talk? Depends. Were you a friend from work? No. Over here. Thanks, Isaac. September 18th. B+. Sorry, B positive. Musician, bassist. Itineraries, grilling, champagne. Nice. Resistance training, procedures, ads. Oh. Best at gift giving, worst at folding laundry. I don't do requests. An artist to the bone. Don't thank me yet. I might just sit here, shut my mouth, and stick you with my tab. So what kind of lawyer are you? What kind of friend? I'm his defense attorney. Think you missed the bus on that then, yeah? And I have a friend who needs to know what happened yesterday. Doesn't everyone? Try somewhere else, friendly lawyer. I ain't ever seen him in weeks. You might not have seen him. Well, we both know you spoke with him over the phone yesterday. Only a short time before he died. How the hell? Isaac. It's pretty obvious you don't want this particular spotlight to linger on you any longer than necessary, so why don't we cut to the chase? No lies, no playing coy. Fine. Sarah. Yes, Adonai? The hell? That thing transmitting? I'm not streaming any data now. Porter doesn't seem to recognize Sarah either. One more person David was keeping secrets from. I need to record everything for the courts. Fine. You two were together, is that correct? We were together. I ended it. Yesterday. Care to elaborate? On our entire relationship? Look, you can tell me everything once I can get in on the record. Oh, wait. Look, you can tell me everything once and I can get in on the record. Or you can hear the same questions over and over again from 1,000 different cops and Megs for the next 3 months. We met in a bar. I'd seen him come a few times, each time with someone else. Each time talking with his mouth but not looking with his eyes. Ticked me off. Scribbling on napkins and letting his single gin and tonic sweat on the table for 2 hours. His dates would all go to the bathroom or take a call and slip out the back. One of them didn't even make it 10 minutes. And he'd still sit there the rest of the night, unfazed. Couldn't tell if he was oblivious, or stupid, or shameless, or the most confident man in the world. And he ticked me off. One night, things were slow. I said it'd been canceled, and his date hadn't even bothered to think of an excuse before bailing, so I asked him why he insisted on coming here night after night. Just ignore vapid people he wasn't interested in at a shitty bar with drinks he didn't like. And he just said, because I like your music. Man, did that tick me off. It was cute early on. Him being so passionate about work, I could barely pretend to understand. And I liked that we gave each other space, you know? Felt like we were being mature or whatever. Until there was no until. No one day where everything turned sour. But at some point, I started to realize where his priorities were and how I ranked in him. Like I said, he was passionate about his work. I just wrongly assumed that he would also be that passionate about me at some point. So I pulled away a little, wanted to see if he'd notice, if he'd miss me. Testing him. Like that isn't the biggest red flag in the world. But he never budged. I could ignore him for days and he wouldn't be the least bit ashamed to see me. If I picked a fight, he'd never get angry or upset, he'd just apologize. He didn't want to fight with me. Guess he was never invested enough to bother. It was my mistake. I watched him sit there all those nights not giving a shit when people walked away, and I still had this stupid idea that somehow, for whatever reason, I could be different. And I would be special. But I wasn't. So I ended it. Last night, called him. Didn't expect he'd pick up. I had everything prepared to leave a message with an assistant or ad or whatever. But he answered. First ring. Without hesitation, shame, or awkwardness. And that ticked me off. So I told him exactly how valued he had made me feel for the past few months. I told him exactly how insignificant I felt as his boyfriend of the illustrious Dr. David Ashur. And what did he say? He apologized. And then he asked me if it was all I called to tell him. Woof. I hung up after that. Spent the rest of the night wrapped in warm disdain for him and his coldness. It made that easy for me. Went to sleep hurt but clean, ready for something new. And then this morning, I wake up to see that my ex killed himself not 2 hours after he let me walk out of his life without so much as a don't. The hell, man. What the hell, David? And now you're just the tip of an iceberg of lawyers and reporters and buzzards. Parasites who want to hear about the man who sent David Ashur over the edge. Never wanted to be his last lifeline, or the straw that broke the back. I just wanted to be his goddamn boyfriend. Turns out that was asking for too much. It has yet to be determined whether David Ashur committed suicide. You serious? You don't have all the facts. And you do. Any one of them could point to anyone else? Thought so. Thank you for your time. I'll let you get back to it. That's it? No summons? Of course, there's no need for you to retell a sad story like that. The court, huh? Sorry to bother you at work. Sarah, let's go.
Your discography is very impressive,
Yeah, thanks.
and your range is remarkable. So it pained me to see that all your works in the last quarter have been so melancholy. I think
Well, what the hell would you know about any of that?
I
What's the matter? Can't find the words? Need to steal them from somewhere first? Butcher them before shitting them back out?
I was not trained on any data sets that...
Nah, pardon me. My mistake, really. Not your fault you're only standing there because rich prick nerds are allowed to rob the world blind for most of the century. Sarah, we're leaving. The hell was that about?
It was under the false impression that I was programmed using a mass automated learning module. I am an early 21st century...
Not that. Why'd you talk to him?
I wanted to... I just felt I should say something to him.
A word of advice. People don't want comfort from strangers, especially when they're androids. They want it from the people they want it from. Coming from anywhere else, it's just corn syrup on a parched tongue. Doesn't matter how sweet it is, they'll just start gagging.
You know a lot about people, don't you, Adonai?
Compared to you, I'm a goddamn savant. Come on, not much time left.
Is there still somewhere you want to investigate?
Somewhere I need to return to, actually. Porter is right. As things stand, I don't have any evidence that could establish an alternate interpretation of the facts. But if there did exist hard evidence that could prove his death wasn't a suicide, there would only be one place I could find it at this point. The crime scene? The basement? July 1st. I really should be keeping track of the time. Noble employee housing, building, plateau. Penthouse basement. Yep. The basement.
The basement. You sure you don't want to look at the crime scene?
I'm all out of time. Gotta approach this from another angle.
The other angle?
You know, inductive versus deductive. Flip the chessboard and all that.
Haven't you ever read a mystery novel? I've seen mystery films.
Well, let's see if you paid attention then. What killed Dr. David Ashur?
Poison.
10 points.
There's a point system?
Now, how did that poison get into his bloodstream?
He must have ingested it orally.
And how do we know that?
The medical examiner found no injection marks or wounds.
And if he had inhaled it?
Inhaled it? Why?
Leave the whys to someone who actually understands them.
I won't be able to understand anything if I don't practice.
Practice by answering my question.
I suppose it's possible, but highly unlikely. We would have found a delivery system for it in the building, like an inhaler.
Right. An airborne poison is either shoved in your face or sprayed over a wide area. And no one around David was shown have any kind of symptoms. So all I've got left is oral intake.
Eliminating the impossible. What's next, Adonai?
Young's corroborated statement was that David didn't exhibit any irregular systems or behavior until he started drinking that night. And the police didn't find anything unusual in any of the food or drink in his home.
Except for his cup. The results were inconclusive.
Young was drinking from the same bottle in the same type of cup, but didn't get sick. We have to conclude then that David's cup alone was poisoned.
That all seems logical. Inconsistent with the police's theory of suicide. So why are we down here?
Minus 10 points.
Back to 0.
David left the parlor and came back with whiskey and 2 cups. Young told us as much, and apparently the cameras upstairs support his story.
So you have to conclude then that he got them both from this bar.
Better. 5 points. Did he also get the poison from the cabinet?
The police have been in here since we left. According to their ARC file, they didn't find anything that matches that poison down here.
So the poison somehow went straight into his drinking cup then. I need to flip this around then.
If you turn something 360 degrees, you're just back to...
If I were the prosecution, what would I want more than anything? Proof that David willingly added the poison himself.
He wouldn't do that.
And you can make that claim because there's no video evidence to contradict you. How long was David off camera?
From 7:30 p.m. to 7:40 p.m. when he left the parlor to get liquor from this bar.
So if we had David on camera for those 4 minutes and he couldn't poison himself in that time,
he would have the perfect alibi for the crime.
proving his innocence.
But Adonai, we don't have footage of that. There are no security cameras down here.
There's you. I think there are.
What do you mean?
This whole building is coated head to toe in penumbra security systems, courtesy of Noble. Every console, every corner, every android on every floor, it's all plugged into penumbra. Except that. That panel is... Oh, wait. Yeah.
That panel is...
Manufactured by Cotter Security Systems. Why would David put a console for a different security system in exactly one corner of his penthouse?
I've never given it much thought.
Well, it's been bothering me all day.
But my curiosity alone can't scale a 64-digit wall.
You mean
Signal hijacking, or whatever you want to call it. Have you tried it before?
It is illegal and unnecessary. Father would not. He would not have installed hidden cameras at his own home.
At the end of the day, it can't really make you do anything. Well, actually, I probably can once you're registered to me. But aren't you the one who wanted to prove his innocence?
Eliminate the impossible. I will need your express verbal command.
Not like David can press charges against us at this point. Do it. Did you really need me to say that?
For the purpose of record keeping, yes. I've gotten past the 64-digit code, and I have found cameras. There are a number of them embedded in the room's walls and ceilings. As you theorized, they are on a separate network from the rest of the building.
Where are they feeding to, if not the penumbra system?
Behind my hibernation unit.
False wall on the back of a safe.
I don't understand. Why would Father possibly have a hidden system of cameras inside his own home?
CCE. Beats me. He was brilliant, more than a little odd. Throw in a little money, and odd becomes eccentric.
I see. I think.
I don't. What the hell was he thinking?
What was he afraid of? Why didn't he come to me for?
Time short. Got the facts now. Leave the computation for later. Oop, shit. Yeah, we're inspecting all of this now with fresh eyes. Cruise. Take in. Inspect. Check. So what's the story with this anyway? Some kind of fault in the foundation?
I don't know. I've never noticed that crack before.
I want to get those eyes checked.
There's nothing wrong with my vision. This crack must have been created during my most recent hibernation.
How? Did David drop a weight a bunch of times over and over in the same spot? Interesting. I thought for sure that would have been caused by her. Like a weight check or something. She accidentally dropped one. What did David even do with all this equipment? Dry his laundry?
What makes you so sure he wasn't exercising?
Did you ever see him use any of this crap?
No, but he must have used the weights when I wasn't looking, since he promised me that he'd take better care of his health.
Sir, these weights are all maxed out. David couldn't even put up numbers like this even if he was piloting a frame.
Don't be so sure, Adonai.
What?
The following is a true story based on primary sources who were present in the event and its aftermath. Copenhagen, 1981, 10 a.m. local time. A towering man with musculature of a world-class professional rugby player enters the local Donka Bank on Fredericksburg Lane. He explains to the bank teller that he has a bomb in his suitcase and that he wants his gym bag filled with unmarked bills. A security guard approaches him from behind with a nightstick and swings, but the man simply catches the weapon and bends it into a twisted knot with his massive, dinner plate-sized hands. When asked to describe the suspect, to the police afterwards, the teller only had this to say: "That man was all muscle."
That's from a manga I think I've read. I don't remember which one.
The rest of the bank heist proceeds without incident, and the man exits the building as the police arrive at the scene when suddenly, his suitcase explodes. But it's just a smokescreen. Local officers quickly recognize the ploy and rush towards the door, grabbing each of the hostages as they flee while desperately searching for the perpetrator. What they find instead is a diminutive, frail, sheepish young man, barely 160 centimeters tall, holding a gym bag full of money with no recollection of how he got there. Renowned psychologist and trained hypnotist Dr. Werner Kurtzer wrote the following in his diagnosis: acute dissociative identity disorder. That's right, the man had a split personality, and so great was the disparity between his two halves that when he switched control, he physically changed, becoming taller, bulkier, and capable of previously unthinkable feats of strength. So be careful when you say, like, a man like Father couldn't do just because he looks on the outside.
Sarah, everything you just said was fake.
Huh?
Don't believe everything you read on the net. Poor kid. He's clearly very enthusiastic about that. The liquor cabinet the mystery hinges on. The police have been through it all by now.
I didn't find foreign content in any of the spirits. No poison to be found here. Well, not that kind of poison anyway. In which case, can I make you anything?
Well, if you're offering, I'll have.
Sorry, you're way underage, aren't you? 2 years old or whatever?
Technically.
So that one a lot worse than I expected. Sure, maybe I'll find you a mocktail if you climb to the top of the ladder.
This is a rolling ladder, a kind of step ladder.
That's fucking, you doing this here too? What?
A ladder extends, but a step ladder folds out.
Is that the real difference? Nobody ever told me like the actual difference between a ladder and a step ladder. And?
It's important to know the distinction.
I bet my life savings on the subject will never come up again, ever. Fascinating. I've already forgotten the distinction. So that's the original?
It was appraised and confirmed to be genuine.
At least you didn't get ripped off. I'm a Philistine when it comes to this kind of stuff. What does an android see?
I see a meeting. Or perhaps an encounter? 2 apex forces of nature. 2 kings of the forest. The stag and the tiger. I think.
Great. I'm officially less cultured than the robot. Alright, why don't we focus here? So there's some kind of hidden door behind your bunk bed, huh?
Essentially, though a bunk would imply a second or third.
How do we open it?
One moment. I see.
Got it open already?
I cannot open this door.
Why?
It is a Tethys basic structure. Sturticure.
That anti-hack feature in the name was real?
It's a closed system, Adonai.
How am I supposed to do now?
Strange. There was an if-then toggle enabled in the security parameters.
I don't follow.
When Father Lest adjusted the settings here, he made it so that the door would never open so long as I was hibernating.
He made it so that I was the only one who could wake her up. Meaning this is a door that only I can open.
It'll be a 6-character password, some combination of numbers or letters. Did you and Father have any influential moments in your life that revolved around a 6-letter word?
Her name is 6 letters. Nothing comes to mind. Is there a code word that he knew only I could learn?
M-O-R-G. Was that your name you just typed?
6 characters, isn't it?
Yes, but it's not exactly secure, Adonai.
Oh.
Anyone who knew you and Father were close could have tried guessing it. Was there some other...
Okay. A nickname? Pretty much everyone calls me Morgan, but not everyone.
It's opening. What was the password, Adonai?
You'd never guess. Smart. That's actually really smart. If it can only open when her thing is open, when Sarah's awake, and Sarah just happens to call her Adonai, she would only know after she had interacted with Sarah in any given time. Feels a bit out of character, David utilizing so much cloak and dagger tech. And I've definitely been struggling with the idea of him doing some home improvement. But one step in here and it all makes sense. It's a panic room.
Scary.
A panic room is a place for rich people to hide in when people start bouncing bricks off their windows. They're typically not even in the blueprints.
So a noble built this penthouse for one of their executives.
Someone slipped this into the mix, and it's remained in Noble's blind spot ever since. All David had to do was repurpose it. Make sure you're capturing all this. I don't want to miss my one chance because of a discovery technicality.
I understand, but you needn't specify. My memory is flawless. I can play back visuals, sound sensations. I can even give detailed reports on air particulates.
You mean you can smell?
Better than any human, and some canines.
So does it smell stale in here to you?
Stale?
Doesn't to me. Almost like someone's been here recently. Almost like someone visits here frequently. Alright, let's try booting up the computer.
You don't think the console is password protected?
2 physical doors, a 64-digit code, and a half-ton Android, and a secret phrase. If David set a password on his PC after all that, I'm going back to the morgue to have a word with him. Good, it's already signed in.
You're looking for camera footage?
I'd also settle for a note plainly stating that he feared for his life. What am I doing? Here, you search for the video files. They'll probably be timestamped and formatted for short-range devices.
I have the subfolder. The camera stream live data constantly, but the files are clipped at fairly regular intervals. Once every week, it seems. The most recent video file here has footage going back 8 days. It was accessed yesterday at around 4 p.m.
So before she even came to visit him, you were asleep then. So the only person who could get in here at the time was David himself. Alright, let's see it then.
Of course, it's just that I am having difficulty.
Try double-clicking?
Panic removing. I have been trying to open the files from the moment I discovered them, hadn't I? But they are encrypted. Damn it, David.
Leave me just enough clues to get this far, but you won't let me use your computer? What's the brand of the encryption program? If Russia's subpoena might have a backdoor I could bluff them into.
These files were not encrypted with any commercially available tool. It appears to be Father's own work.
Shit. David Ashur handled the encryption on these files. There's no one alive who could... Hey, was Dawes just flattering you back there? Or is your processing power really that special?
I don't know,
Can you break this encryption, yes or no?
with enough time.
And how much time would that be?
I would estimate 2 to 6 hours.
That's a 4-hour window!
No matter how sophisticated, encryption is still a code that must be deciphered. And with deciphering any code, progress proceeds exponentially, which makes it particularly difficult to determine the amount of time required to complete the process.
2 to 6 hours. I don't have any better options. Get started.
I started 4 minutes and 23 seconds ago.
Finally showing some initiative. But you've been talking to me the whole time.
I have the ability to analyze data in parallel by utilizing subconscious processes, as long as the work required is rote.
So you're doing it in the back of your head?
Actually, I'm speaking to you in the back of my head. I can give the decryption process my full undivided attention if I were to become unresponsive.
Yeah, that's a pretty nifty feature. I'll have to keep that in my mind. Alright. Can you take the show on the road, or do we have to rip this computer out of the wall to find a battery?
I have copied the encrypted files and will work on them as we travel. We can leave whenever you're ready.
Still can't believe David let me get this far just to shut the door in my face at the last second. But he did let me get this far. And the computer's not the only thing in here. Cabinets are a lot less eye-catching than his computer, but knowing David, that's all the more reason to check. Not gonna let me do it personally? Lots of paperwork, bonds and holdings. Platinum bar? His birth certificate might be nearly as valuable. Can't imagine what people would pay to steal David Ashur's identity. And down here at the bottom, a binder. With a logo in the front, in the middle. Enough page just to dwarf one of those phone books you see in period pieces. They're masking it as legalese even on the table of contents, but basically, this is an employment contract. Ooh. What's the details of that?
Detail compensation, grants for dismissal, definition of what constitutes a priest contract, and how rotation can be handled.
Not a light read. Hold on to this for me.
It must be very important if you're giving it to me.
It's certainly very heavy.
Was there anything else in there?
Expecting an updated copy of his will to show up?
That's a possibility, isn't it?
Maybe in a corneal murder mystery.
A widely beloved and respected genre with nearly 2 centuries of...
There is something else. Your papers.
That Evangeline Morgan will be given immediate and complete ownership of the android designated Sarah.
Dated a few weeks back. Had he already made up his mind about... Oh yeah, you can see it says Sarah. That's funny.
About all of this? If he had, why'd he hide this where no one else would find it? Is that just a backup plan?
Well, at the very least, we've got something a bit more concrete than Starling's word now.
Tax-free transaction.
Imagine having to pay taxes on her. Oof.
Her word should be plenty, shouldn't it?
Not if people realize how precious you are. Not in that way. As a collector's item, Here, there you go.
We've yet to meet one person who knows what the hell you want. But Noble could have easily argued that you fall into private technology or physical holdings. Unless I had something like this. It's good that you do then. I'm glad that father wanted me to go with a friend of his.
Yeah.
This will give me a huge tax write-off when I donate you to a for-profit college. You can at least pick a charitable institution. It's just an old saying. All colleges have been for-profit since the 60s. That doesn't make me feel any better. You can cheer up in the car. Hail us to a ride to the courthouse. Priority. There's an upcharge at this hour of priority transportation.
That's irritating.
I'd like to have more than a few minutes to prepare once we get there. The upcharge is a multiplier of 5.7.
Jesus.
I'll prepare one on the way over. Very good, Adonai. 5.7. Jesus Christ.
Uber really is a scam.
And all the others like it.
It's thinking, so we're just stuck here in the black void for a while. Oh, there it goes.
So are we actually at the courthouse or?
No, we're in transit.
You know what? I'm gonna call it here.
Normally I like to let these go for a little bit longer. Especially this. I like to let it go for a little bit longer. But we also had some extra foibles. So I didn't exactly have as much time as I would have liked. But that's fine, I guess.
Let's see. Anything new over here?
Let's see the concept gallery. I don't think we're going to have any more bonus scenarios just yet.
Nope, not yet. Okay, that's fine. Get back out of here. Well, that's about it for me today, guys.
Yeah, I guess that will be the title. All that I really do need to say is, well, thank you guys for watching. It's always nice having you around. Gives me something to do. To clarify, I would be doing this whether or not somebody was watching or not. But it is nice knowing that somebody's watching. Listen, I am fully prepared to just like, oh, nobody's watching at all. Sick. That means I can say and do whatever the fuck I want. Not exactly everything that I want, because YouTube will have some rules and things to say about that. But yeah. All that aside, I just wanted to reiterate for the end here that after today, for about a week, maybe even 2, probably just 1, we'll see. I am not going to be streaming anything in favor of trying to get everything that I kind of need done. So that's going to be like uploading the latest. I think I'm up to like 3 in the backlog of Hollow Traxias. But also I have like I need to redraw my what's it called? My kata studies again, and address my classes, my very real classes that I paid a lot of money for, and so should be at a higher priority. But just stuff like that. And I'm gonna need like a week or 2 to make sure I have all my ducks in a row before doing this thing, which is ostensibly a hobby. I'm not really getting paid for any of this, so. But yeah, the social media, aka Twitter / Blue Sky Post, will go out sometime tomorrow, probably. Tomorrow, day of recording. And then, yeah. If anything new or anything changes with that, then that'll be another post. I will not be doing Silksong. that just recently got announced. I think that's what, in like 2 weeks from now, a week maybe. I'm not doing that. I haven't played Hollow Knight. I think I have Hollow Knight, but I haven't played it just because one, it's kind of big, and two, like it's intimidating. The size of it, it's just so much of it there. And I imagine it's much the same for Silk Song. So I'm going to let everybody else enjoy that. I'm going to be doing my own thing. Thank you very much. But I hope everybody who does play Silk Song enjoys it. It's been a long time coming. But other than that, hope you guys take care of yourselves. Hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day, rest of your week. And I will see you in time. Later. Bye. Take care.